It's not easy being a child star. We know this. You work long hours while missing out on typical childhood experiences. What's worse is that for many young actors and actresses, they struggle to maintain their careers as they get older, growing out of their baby faces and becoming adults. So today on Top 10 Beyond the Screen, we're going to be counting down our list of the top 10 child actors you won't believe what they look like today. It makes sense. Just say it a few more times. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. Let's jump in. Coming in at 10, Ron Howard. A lot of our younger viewers may be surprised to see this Oscar-winning director on our list, but did you know his acting career began at the age of 5 when he played Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show, all the way back in 1960. From there he went on to star in countless other shows before landing the part of Richie Cunningham in the 1970s hit Happy Days, before going on to star in American Graffiti. However, the actor quickly turned his attention to directing instead, with his first directing credit coming in 1977 for Grand Theft Auto. From there he went on to direct Willow, Far and Away, Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, Rush, and countless others. The director went on to even nab an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind, with Ron receiving the award for Best Picture and Best Director. Coming in at 9, Corey Feldman. Like a lot of our other numbers coming up on our list, Corey Feldman was an incredibly popular child star back in the 80s, appearing in many classics like Stand By Me, The Goonies, Gremlins, and of course The Lost Boys. Corey quite famously faced a public battle with drugs, which began shortly after filming The Burbs back in 1989, before the star re-established his career by starring in several lesser-known movies and even dabbling in music. Not only did his career make him a big name in Hollywood, but he was also known for being very close friends with Michael Jackson as a child and a teenager. However, Feldman would later go on to state that Jackson had done real damage to his childhood by befriending him and then abandoning him. Not only did he suffer at the hands of Jackson, but Feldman was also a victim of a Hollywood child sexual abuse scandal. According to the actor, he was molested by a man who identified himself as Ron Crimson, who Feldman also stated was the man who initiated his drug addiction. Feldman later went on to identify the man as actor Cloyd John Grissom. He also accused child agent Marty Weiss of sexually abusing him as well. The star of course looks a whole lot different than he did as a young boy due to years of drug abuse and emotional distress. Coming in at 8, Thora Birch. Back in the 1990s, Thora Birch was in all of our favourite childhood movies, with most of you recognizing the star from the Halloween classic Hocus Pocus, before going on to star in Now and Then alongside another number on our list, Itsy Bitsy Spider and Patriot Games. The actress transitioned into more mature roles when she became a teenager, starring in Ghost World and American Beauty alongside He Who Must Not Be Named, Kevin Spacey. However, her career took a nosedive when she began to get fired from roles due to her father, who was also her manager. Supposedly he would get into a lot of arguments with some of her co-stars, which would result in her being removed from the film. Now Birch is still acting, but she's definitely not appearing in any high caliber movies. Some of her recent projects include Train, Dark Corners, Petunia, and The Competition. All films I've never heard of. No hate, just facts. Coming in at 7, Peter Billingsley. Billingsley shot to fame when he starred as Ralphie Parker in the 1983 holiday classic A Christmas Story. However, outside of that role, the actor, who was destined for stardom, completely disappeared. In the late 1980s, the actor's career began to slow, with Billingsley only making guest appearances on a handful of shows before seemingly transitioning to another sector of the film industry, producing. Billingsley was the producer of 4 Christmases, starring Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn, Iron Man, F is for Family, and Art of Conflict. Why did no one tell me he produced Iron Man? I feel duped. However, he hasn't completely given up on his career, with Billingsley making an uncredited appearance in Elf, playing Ming Ming. Coming in at 6, Christina Ricci. You may know this star as Wednesday Addams in The Addams Family, Kat in Casper, or even young Roberta in one of my favourite movies, Now and Then. It's safe to say the 90s were the decade of Christina Ricci, and her career did not halt unlike her fellow child actors. She is one of the few stars on our list that successfully managed to maintain her thriving career, with the actress having multiple acting credits to her name every year since 1993. As an adult, she has gone on to star in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Sleepy Hollow, Monster, and Ally McBeal. She also appeared in the short-lived series Pan Am alongside Margot Robbie, as well as played the title character in the Lizzie Borden Chronicles. While she hasn't stopped acting, Ricci has stated that the most important role in her entire life is now being a mother, and that she is a completely different person than she was before she had a son. Coming in at 5, Tia and Tamera Mowry. Tia and Tamera shot to fame when they starred in the Nickelodeon hit series Sister Sister back in 1994 and running up until 1999. Outside of the hit sitcom, the twins also appeared in Are You Afraid of the Dark, Twitches, and of course, Twitches 2. However, following those roles, their careers took a different path. The pair went on to star in their own reality TV show called Tia and Tamera, which ran from 2011 to 2013. However, the pair soon went their separate ways, with Tia going on to star in her own cooking channel series called Tia Mowry at Home, where she makes everything from mac and cheese, cake, pie, curry, and various types of cocktails. Tamera, on the other hand, stuck with TV and became a co-host on the popular series The Real back in 2013, where she still remains today. The twins look exactly like their younger selves, except slightly more mature and with a less 90s vibe. They will always be sister to me. Go home, Roger. That's a quote, I'm not just weird. Coming in at 4, Edward Furlong. Now, for a lot of you, the name Edward Furlong may not ring a bell. However, you definitely know who he is. As a child, he starred as John Connor in the Terminator franchise before going on to star in Pet Sematary 2, American History X, and American Heart. During the 90s, Edward Furlong was a certified heartthrob and was in all of the girls' magazines at the time. However, after coming off the high of American History X, where he starred alongside Edward Norton, Furlong found himself hospitalized in 2001 of a suspected overdose. Between the ages of 22 and 26, he was constantly on and off hard drugs, with the actor stating, I quote, "I was a heroin and cocaine addict. It was really scary." However, the star is now sober, stating in the same interview, "I don't even think about partying anymore. It seems lonely now, running and clubbing and doing coke. I have nightmares about doing hard drugs. I'll wake up and I'm like, did I relapse?" However, legal troubles continued to follow Furlong in 2010. He was placed on 3 years probation after he violated a restraining order placed on him by Rachel Bella. In October 2012, Furlong was arrested and charged with domestic violence against his then-girlfriend Monica Keener. In March 2013, Furlong was sentenced to 180 days in jail for a violation of probation and use of force against another ex. The legals continued through to 2014. As it stands, Furlong seems to now be on the straight and narrow, with the actor even set to reprise his role as John Connor in the 2019 film Terminator Dark Fate. Coming in at 3, Mara Wilson. Mara Wilson was a hot commodity back in the 90s, being one of the most successful child stars of all time, appearing in works such as Mrs. Doubtfire, Miracle on 34th Street, Matilda, and A Simple Wish. Wilson was on the path to be the next big thing in Hollywood. However, things didn't pan out that way for the star, who instead decided to quit acting and return to school instead. Her official retirement came after her role in the 2000 movie Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Since her retirement from Hollywood, she has been pursuing her passion for writing, even releasing her own book called Where Am I Now?, which was released in September 2016. Regarding her acting career, Wilson told NPR, I quote, "Sometimes I wish I had stopped after Matilda because I think that was really the peak for me. There wasn't really anywhere that I could go from there, so I think that I was already starting to age out of acting. I think it would have been a good time to reevaluate things, but I think that after my mother died, I felt like I had to keep going because film was the only constant in my life." Though she has retired, Wilson does still dabble every now and then in the entertainment world, appearing in an episode of Broad City as a waitress and BoJack Horseman as Jill Pill. The star has also become quite popular on social media, with her being incredibly vocal about anxiety, OCD, and depression. Now, of course, Mara looks a whole lot different than she did when she was 8 years old, starring in our favourite childhood movies, with most fans probably not even recognising her if they crossed her on the street. Coming in at 2, Jonathan Lipnicki. Oh, Jonathan Lipnicki. He was my absolute favourite growing up, with the child star appearing in films such as Jerry Maguire, Stuart Little, The Little Vampire, and Like Mike, my personal fave. He was a highly sought after star in the 90s, however, following a handful of successful film roles, the early 2000s brought about depression and bullying for the young actor, who was mostly starring in small roles and bit parts at the time. However, in 2012, Lipnicki had a 6-episode arc on the show Mother Lover before going on to star in 8 episodes of Interns of Field in 2016. You won't find the former child star appearing in any big movies anymore, opting instead for more independent features. However, what will come as a surprise to a lot of you now is that Jonathan Lipnicki is absolutely ripped. And tattered, but mostly ripped. Abs for days, and I'm all about it. And finally, coming in at number 1, Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel Osment during a period of time was the biggest child star in the world and perhaps one of the most successful of all time. You would recognize this star from films such as The Sixth Sense, Pay It Forward, and AI Artificial Intelligence. Now, while The Sixth Sense garnered him a whole slew of awards and nominations for his performance as Cole, the boy who could see dead people, following 2003 he seemingly disappeared, opting instead to do more voice acting for TV shows and video games. including Kingdom Hearts. Recently, Haley Joel has been appearing frequently in more popular projects such as The Boys, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, and even in my favourite, NBA 2K19. Now, Haley Joel looks a whole lot different than he did when he was a young child. I mean, of course it's called aging. He now dons a very large beard, but still has the doughy boyish charm we all knew and loved. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any child actors that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from some of our last videos. Alan said, "Lucy, can you do a top 10 movie franchises that deserve a reboot?" I'm a big fan of that idea. We also have a very similar list coming up soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Vicky said, "Dang, what is in the water in Canada? Maple syrup and joy and happiness and kindness." Josh Harvey said, "Lucy, you seem like you would be cool to smoke with. Fire it up." I can neither confirm nor deny, but maybe. On that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another Beyond the Screen vid. And until next time, see you later.